The line at the bank moved slowly, the fluorescent lights casting a dull glow over the marble floors. Outside, the cold December wind rattled against the glass. Inside, a man named Daniel Harper clenched a weathered folder in his hands, the edges frayed, as if they'd been handled 1,000 times. Daniel wasn't anyone special to the world. A mechanic by trade, a father by grace. His dark hair had hints of gray, and his tired eyes told stories he rarely spoke aloud. At 38, he was raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, on his own after his wife, Claire, passed away from cancer 2 years earlier. Life hadn't been kind. Bills stacked up, the house needed repairs, and his old pickup coughed and rattled on the drive to work each day. But none of that scared Daniel. What frightened him was the possibility of not giving Lily the life she deserved. And so, here he was, at Westridge Bank, seeking a small personal loan. Just enough to fix the roof before the heavy snows came. Enough to replace the broken furnace so Lily wouldn't have to sleep in her little jacket, curled up like a kitten to stay warm. Next, called the teller. Daniel stepped forward, his heart pounding against his ribs like a drum. He handed over his folder, pay stubs, tax returns, a letter of recommendation from the owner of the auto shop where he worked. The woman behind the counter barely looked up. She typed something into her computer, frowned, then spoke with rehearsed coldness. "I'm sorry, Mr. Harper. Based on your credit history and outstanding debts, the bank cannot approve your loan application at this time." There it was. The words he feared. Daniel swallowed hard. "Please," he managed. "It's for my daughter. We don't need much. Just enough to make it through the winter." The teller's expression softened for a fleeting second, but policy was policy. "I'm very sorry. There's nothing more I can do." A few people behind him shifted uncomfortably. The man in a suit looked at his watch. A woman in designer heels sighed, annoyed at the delay. But one woman, Eleanor Whitmore, standing quietly 3 places back, noticed everything. She was an older woman in her early 60s, elegantly dressed but unassuming. Few people in that town knew her name, though they'd driven past Whitmore Industries, the multi-billion-dollar corporation she had inherited and expanded after her father's passing. Wealth like Eleanor's could build cities, but what mattered to her were people. And something about Daniel, the way his hands trembled, the raw desperation in his voice, stirred something in her. Because decades ago, she'd been there too. 35 years earlier, a young Eleanor had stood in a similar line with a newborn in her arms and a rejection letter in her back. No one had stepped in for her then. But that memory? It stayed. It shaped her. She quietly left her place in line and approached the counter as Daniel, defeated, gathered his papers. "Excuse me," she said softly. "Could you hold his application for a moment?" The teller blinked. "Ma'am," Eleanor smiled. "I'd like to cover Mr. Harper's loan personally. And double it." The bank manager, overhearing, came rushing over. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Whitmore, are you sure?" Daniel looked up, bewildered. I don't understand." Eleanor turned to him, her eyes kind. "You don't know me, Mr. Harper, but I know what it means to be a parent standing at the edge, feeling like no one's going to catch you. Consider this a small act of faith, not charity, an investment in you and in your daughter's future." Daniel's throat tightened. His pride wanted to refuse, but his heart knew he couldn't. I can't accept that, ma'am. It's too much." She shook her head. "You can. And one day, when you're able, you'll do something for someone else who needs it. That's how this works." The entire bank had gone quiet. The man in the suit lowered his phone. The woman in heels blinked back tears. For a moment, in a world too often driven by numbers and bottom lines, humanity made a rare appearance. The papers were signed within minutes. The funds transferred. The furnace replaced 2 days later. The roof fixed before the first snowfall. But the story didn't end there. Months later, Daniel started a small community fund with the extra money Eleanor had given him. Not much, just enough to help others get through rough patches. A single mother needing groceries. An elderly couple whose heater failed. A young student needing a bus pass. Word spread. Others contributed. The town changed. And every Christmas, a letter would arrive for Eleanor, a simple card from Lily Harper, thanking the angel at the bank who made everything possible. Years down the road, Lily grew up and earned a scholarship to study medicine. And when she opened her free clinic for low-income families, she named it the Eleanor Center. Because sometimes, the smallest acts, a hand reaching out when no one else will, echo louder than any fortune ever could. This isn't a story about money. It's about noticing people. About kindness that asks for nothing in return but trust in the goodness of others. In a world that often feels divided and indifferent, it reminds us, one gesture can rewrite a life. And those ripples? They never stop. So maybe, next time you see someone standing at their breaking point, you'll be the one to step forward. And maybe, that's how we quietly save the world.